This video is focused on the data type widget. We're going to do an overview of the widget. We're going to talk about assigning it to users, show you how to do that, and then we're going to use the widget. So let's go into the product and get started. Let me do a quick overview of the data type widget before I even go into it. The data type widget is fundamentally different than every other widget in the product. In fact, the data type widget is made up of a whole bunch of these other widgets. The point of this widget was to provide an environment that was much more simplistic and straightforward than Quincy itself. It could pull from the power of Quincy, but provide it almost like a walled garden where a basic investigator conduct their investigation without being burdened by the confusion of the rest of the product. Now, we've shown you many ways to create similar customized environments like panels, like custom views, like custom URLs, all those kind of things. But the data type is, if you will, the extreme of those. If you assign the data type widget to somebody and only assign that widget to somebody, it will open them into it instead of opening them directly into the product. So anyway, let's go into the widget, poke around a little bit, and then I think you'll get a flavor for it, and then we'll go assign it to a user, and I'll show you how that all works. So we're opening up our data type widget, and you can see we immediately arrive on a landing page of sorts. It's called, I've got Tim here, but it's a customizable title. You can call it anything you want. I'll show you in the admin widget where you can name this. So you can call it after your corporation or whatever branding you want to put on it. You have basic user information. The guy can change his password or he can log out. And you can see there's a log out button here. Why would there be a log out button? Because if you assign the data type view to somebody, he will experience it, he or she will experience it like this, as opposed to how we're doing it now, where you can sort of see your inside Quincy. So if he was like that, he would want the ability to log out. All the cases this person has access to are listed right here. The databases this individual has access to. This is the first place in Quincy where you can see the ability to log into multiple databases. Powerful capability. Of course, you can do it in the rest of Quincy, but it is actually laid out very neatly right here. So if a user had multiple databases, they would just need to click on them, and they could then see the cases in them and go directly into those cases. There's an announcement section here. We have the whole messaging center. Hopefully you viewed those videos. Here's where announcements would go. So if you have a system announcement or any sort of case announcements or whatever you want to send to this user or send to all users, you can do it through this functionality. So let's log into a case and we'll see how this goes. Now you can see there's redundant messages here. And again, that is because simply if you were in just the data type view, you wouldn't be seeing this top bar. And so you'd want to know what was going on. Now you can see the data type widget is the simplicity of the data type widget becomes quickly apparent here. If you click into any of these environments, it will position the interface in a way that we believe is most conducive to viewing documents of those type. This is text documents, so we've got the grid. We've got a bunch of different filters that can be utilized over here. If you want to filter on document type, you can do that. You can also include the different visualization capabilities that might be relevant to this data type. For example, a timeline. If you want to view a timeline, it's right here. You can just click on it a second time to remove it. Bookmarks are up here. Tags are up here. If you want to remove any filters you've applied in the context of using this tool, that's right here. So it's, again, meant to be as simple as possible for a user that doesn't want to be burdened. So now let's say we're done with files and we want to exit out. We exit out. We can go back into any of these other different file categories If ultimately we are done completely, we can exit back out and ultimately log out. So that's the data type widget. There's a ton here. I'm not going to do it the justice it needs to, because each of the components is pulled from other parts of the tool, and therefore there are videos directly on those components. Um, and I want to spend some time here showing you how it would look for an investigator that just got access to this. So first of all, let's go change this Tim here. Let's make it something that might be more indicative of what you would want. So we're going to go into the admin section here. And I think it's configuration. Let's see. Oh, nope, excuse me, it's not configuration. So let's go into system administration, system values. And there you can see data type company, and we call it Tim here. So we'll call it my company. Or again, obviously, whatever your organization name is, we just save it. It saves, easy peasy. And now when we log in, it will be my company. So that's part one. But now let's go ahead and create a role that is just dedicated to the by data type. We've already got one here, but let me show you it. So data type, and it's got the view, just the data type view. And that's what's sort of critical. Most of this other stuff doesn't really matter because the data type view is, if you will, self-sufficient and standalone. I've also encouraged people to make, if you're going to use the data type, to make a custom URL that is specific to the data type. You'll see if you come down here and you click on data, where's data type, data type right here, it will select a whole bunch of other ones that are necessary to run the data type view. And then you can create your own URL, which we've already done here, that will allow these users to log in more quickly and not be burdened again by loading the whole product. So let's go back to users and let's give Stefan our data type role. And let's save him. And now we're going to log out and log back in as Stefan. Okay, we logged in as the Stefan user. And we used our data type URL. It wouldn't matter what URL we used, it's just a question of speed. And we can see it's changed to my company here, and he has access only to the one database, and there are no announcements for him, and he has just his one case. But again, you can see the experience here for him is very different. It's like it's a complete product. In fact, if he sort of went and pressed F11, now he really has a complete immersion into this much more simplistic environment. But let me just undo that. I don't like it like that personally. So I just clicked here and we're going to see exactly the same thing that we saw before. We log into that case. It's got the basic information about the case, the different places he can go, and his experience would be just what we showed it when we were in the full product. So let's exit out and then ultimately log out, and you'll see he'll go to log out screen. So that is what is unique about the data type widget. I think it's extremely powerful. We're going to spend a lot of time working on it. So I would encourage you guys to play around with it and get familiar with it and see if you can make it useful in your environment. If you have any suggestions for us, please let us know. As you know, we're very eager for your feedback. Thank you very much.